Grace Point Church. It's Pastor Andrew, and I wanted to share a portion of a psalm with you today. The psalm is written by David, king of Israel, and in this psalm, there's some very important reminders about the character and the nature of God. The psalm I'd like to read a portion of is Psalm 139. He says in verse 5, he says, "You hem me in behind and before." I think it's a great picture that the psalmist is saying, okay, you're in front of me and you're also behind me. That God is both where we're going to be going and where we've been. And then he says that he lays his hand upon me. In reflection upon this, he says, "Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It's too lofty for me to attain." He reflects on this saying, he says, "Where shall I go from your presence? Or where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence?" He's essentially saying that even if I tried running away from you, where am I going to go? Like, where can I go to get away from God? He says, if I go up to the heavens, you're there. If I make my bed in the depths, you're there. If I rise on the wings of dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there will your hand guide me, and your right hand will hold me fast. What an amazing reflection that whether the highest heaven or the lowest earth, first thing in the morning, last thing in the evening, wherever we try going or running to from God, in those moments, God is still there. We are, as individuals, we're dealing with a lot. I talk to a lot of people who are hurting, they're struggling, they're confused, they're worried. In those moments when it feels like everything is crashing down, that everything's changing, that everything's up for grab, in those moments, the psalmist lets us know that God is still there. That he's never far away, that he's never gone, that he's never too far removed, or that he never doesn't see what's going on. He says, the psalmist says, "If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you." We love to hide things in the dark because we can't see. As a kid, maybe you played games like capture the flag or hide and seek, and it was always so much fun at night because in those moments at night you could hide in spots that you could never get away with hiding under normal conditions. Why? Because our eyes are limited to the light. That we need light to be able to see. And you know what the psalmist is saying? He says, even in the darkness, God sees me and knows. Even when you're struggling and you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't sleep and it's black all around you and it feels even black in your soul, in those moments, God sees you. And God's there with you. Why? He says, for the night will shine like the day, and for the darkness is a light to you. That light makes no difference to God. He doesn't need the light. Not only is God with us, and not only can God see us, but it says, you created my innermost beings. You knit me together in my mother's womb. That God knew who you were going to be before you were born. That he was forming you deliberately and carefully. So not only does he know where you're at or what you're doing, but he knows who you are. And he knows who he made you to be. The psalmist says, "I will praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made." Some of us, we really relate to that fearfully section. We're like, man, I feel like I'm fearfully made. But it's not saying that in an awful sense, but in a magnificent sense. That God put you together very specifically and very deliberately. And the psalmist says that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days for me were ordained in your book, before one of them came to be. And this is amazing, that God has every single day of our lives planned and known before we ever lived them. Now I know, sometimes we're like, wouldn't it be great if God just told us everything that my day, my week, my year would entail? Well, maybe, but it also probably could be pretty terrifying at times. But God knows them all. And the psalmist says, how precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast are the sum of them. Were I to count them, they'd outnumber the grains of sand. When I'm awake, I am still with you. Here we see the presence of God lives with us. He lives with you, that you're not doing this life alone, that you're not navigating COVID by yourself, that you're not navigating the stress of a changed job by yourself, that you're not navigating a school year that's been flipped on end that you never imagined that this would be the year by yourself. You're not navigating a retirement by yourself that you never pictured, and your planner never told you to expect this. That in the midst of all these things, that God is before us and He's behind us, and that His hand is on top of us. That we're protected, that we're held safe, and that nothing can hit us or nothing can contact us that doesn't come through the hands of God. I hope Psalm 139 is an encouragement to you and to me. That in the midst of all the chaos and all the disturbance and all the trouble we see around us, that God's got you. That He's got me. That we're safely in His hand and that we're protected by Him. I love you. I hope you rest in the presence of God.